here from Cluckin. Hope y'all are having a wonderful morning. So we have decided to do a goat series, and it's going to be different aspects of raising goats, such as breeding, milking, just general care, and all that comes with raising goats. So the first one we're going to do is talk about meeting the goats and kind of talk briefly about why we chose the breed that we did, and then also a little bit about goats in general, about this particular breed. Somebody's going to be contrary this morning. She's been like this lately. So Nigerian dwarfs were imported about the mid-1970s from West Africa. They were originally used for companion animals, for like race horses, show horses, and they were also used a lot for show for themselves too. And Nigerian dwarfs are known as little powerhouses because of their milk. So for their size, they can produce quite a bit of milk. They also have higher butterfat content than any other dairy animal. I think it almost is equivalent of what breast milk would be. It is a pretty high amount of butterfat in theirs. And they're smaller than your average dairy goat. They're roughly less than 24 inches. Most of the average size is about 22, and that's from here, not their head. This is from here, and their shoulders down on their height. And then the average size of them is less than 100 pounds. They can get a little over 100. I've had one that when she was pregnant, I think she was roughly about 115. So they can get a little over 100, but the average is less than 100. So they're easy to work with. And that's one of the reasons we decided to choose them. A few of the other reasons we decided to go with them is that they are easier for a smaller homestead like ours. I used to raise goats years ago. I had Nubians and La Manchas. And they're pretty good sized goats and good, tall sized goats, and they produce a lot of milk. Nigerian dwarfs may not produce as much as the bigger sized goats, but they do produce a lot for their size. And something else that I have found about them that I really, really like is the taste of their milk. So you know how you have some of the other goat breeds, their milk could have a goaty taste to it, especially after you heat it. Like, so if you use it for cheese making or just any kind of cooking, it leaves a goaty flavor to it. But with Nigerian dwarfs, you don't have that goaty flavor. Like, I literally have used her milk for making pies and fudge and ice cream and so much, and some of it that we really have heated up, like with the pies, and there is no goaty flavor. In fact, it's actually similar to cow's milk. It just has a sweeter taste to it because of the high butterfat content. And I noticed that because of where she's at in her lactation, because she's getting later in her lactation, her milk is getting sweeter because her butterfat content is getting higher. And then one of the other reasons is that Nigerian dwarfs don't eat as much as the bigger goats, and they're a little bit easier to keep in. Like, our panels are, we use just like the hog panels, but I'm trying to think how high they are. I think they're roughly about 4 foot, maybe a little bit taller. and we don't have too much problem with them getting out. Like, they won't climb over. Now around the bottom we've had to put, like you can see here, we've had to put this netting when the little girls were smaller because they could squeeze through and they'd escape on us. But you know, they don't really get out that much. As long as you have secure, you know, fencing and not little bitty holes, you can be able to keep them in. And usually, you know, if they have enough feed, they're usually pretty happy about staying in their pen, usually. A lot of people will provide like jungle gyms and playground stuff for them to keep them entertained. That's something we haven't quite got to yet here. We do have a lot of ideas in mind of things that we want to build for our goats and all. So that's kind of roughly on a little bit about Nigerians themselves, why we chose the breed. And so now we kind of get to the fun part, is that I'm going to introduce each goat to you. So, all right, let's go meet the goats. I've introduced her before. This is Tilly. Tilly is almost 2. She'll be turning 2 in March. We've had her for almost a year now. She was one of our 3 original goats that we got, along with her half-sister Millie, who we lost last year, and then Mojo, who that we sold pretty recently. Tilly could be a little cantankerous. Some days she doesn't want to stand still for anything. She wants to give us problems. She's also considered a herd queen. So herd queens are basically the boss of the herds. They could be a little bit bossy and aggressive where food is concerned, but she basically runs things around here. And as you know, Tilly is in production right now. She is in her lactation. She has had a lactation of about 160 days, and she has produced about 266 pounds of milk, which is roughly about 30 gallons, which is not really a lot in the goat world, in the dairy goat world, because the average is 305-day lactation with anywhere from 500 to 700 pounds of milk, which is a lot of milk for a little goat. Nigerian dwarfs can produce pretty good amount, and because this was her first time having babies, she is considered a first freshener. And they freshen when they have their babies and start producing milk. We are just slowly getting into goat coloring genetics and all. She is considered a gold with white spots. She also has, I don't know if you could see it really well, but she has frosting on her ears, and then she has a white pole top. Even though she has horns, she still has a white pole top. She also has frosting on her muzzle and little spots around her eyes. She can be lovable. She can also be very cantankerous though. But I love having her. You know, having goats is a blessing and a curse. This is Jewel. She is one of our sweeter goats. We've had her since April of 2023, so this year. She will be 3 in April. So Nigerian dwarfs and a lot of the other goat breeds will grow until they are 3 years of age. So Jewel is almost at her full weight. And she is pregnant. We bred her with 8-ball, and so she will be due February. And we know she's carrying twins. We just don't know if there's any more in there. Hopefully it's just 2. And and she will be a second freshener. She had a little buckling with her previous breeder. This year we're hoping for dolings. And like I said, she is definitely one of our sweeter goats. She's so soft. I love how soft her fur is compared to Tilly's. And Jewel here is considered a Rowan because of her coloring. She kind of has that salt and pepper look all the way through. See if I can get her to bring her face up for you. Isn't that pretty face? She also has the frosting on her ears and the white polecat and just a little bit of frosting on her nose. She also has what they call wattles. Let's see if I can get these. Some breeders will cut them off, and sometimes they're basically just considered goat jewelry, and they can be anywhere. I've seen even wattles show up around the ears. I personally don't like them, but with an older goat like this, I would not cut them off. And Jewel here has really taken to our toddler, our little boy that you've seen a bunch. She really loves him. And as you can see, she is definitely more submissive. The only time I ever see her get aggressive is with food, but it could just be pregnancy hormones too, with her being pregnant currently. Alright, now I'm gonna go get my other two girls and introduce them too. So for previous videos, you have met Eclipse. She was one of our little dolings that was born on the homestead. She is the daughter of Tilly and Mojo. She definitely has a very spunky personality. She can be very contrary, like her mama, but she can also be very loving. And she likes to bite, don't you? You like to bite. She will be 6 months old at the end of December. And she is our only blue-eyed doe. Let's see if I can bring her close enough that you can see these blue eyes. See, look at those beautiful blues. She loves the camera. She is considered a black. She only has a little bit of white on her. Mostly it's the frosting on her ears, like her parents, the white polecat here. She has a little bit of frosting on her nose, and she also has little white spots around her eyes like her mommy. And as you notice, she doesn't have any horns. And it's not that she's not old enough to grow horns, because by the time they are a month old, you could feel horn buds already. But we had her disbudded, which means that the vet or me as the breeder can come in and do that. And so it looks kind of like a curling iron, and it's hollow on the end. And so what they do is they put it on the horn bud, they heat it up, and then they twist it. And it burns everything around there, and it prevents the horns from growing. That is one of our goals here on the homestead, is to move away from horns. I know some people are very for them. I don't like them. The goats can hurt each other with them, and if they get stuck in the fence with them and can't get out, they could potentially die or get severely injured. And so here on the homestead, we have decided to move away from the horns and just disbud all of our babies. Isn't she cute? She's such a sweetie. Yeah. This one here is Gizmo. I have to say, when she was born, the way she popped up and looked over her mom, she looked like a little mogwai. That's why she got the name Gizmo. She is the full sister to Eclipse. So she is the daughter of Mojo and Tilly. She's almost 6 months old. She as well is disbudded like her sister. She doesn't have quite as much frosting on her ears, but she still has that white polecat that most of them have. And then her frosting on her nose is barely there. It's more kind of little sprinkles. And I think out of the two, she definitely is the sweeter one, aren't you? And with her color pattern, she is considered a Bezoa Chamiset. So she's kind of a combo. You know, with the black stripe down her back, it goes all the way up to her head. Her front legs are not quite as solid. When I have talked about for breeding for size, because they won't be bred just yet, because you don't breed until they're 7 months of age, is they have to be 45 pounds. She is roughly about 32, so she's almost there. But also you want the rump width. So back in here, I don't know if you can see, you want it to be about 4 inches. She is pretty well there on the rump width. She has very good wide hips. So like you would say, well, you know, women have good birthing hips. That's what you're looking for, is good wide hips with the goats. So she's almost there. Hopefully within the next month, we'll be able to breed her for sure. And she is definitely one of the sweeter ones, so I definitely love her personality. So this is our buck 8-Ball. He definitely has a better personality than what Mojo did. 8-Ball is really sweet, but boy, does this dude smell right now. So during the fall season, bucks will go into what they call rut. So they're getting ready for breeding. So I'm going to it a little earlier. 8-Ball was one of those ones that decided he was going to start in June. Oh. And the way that they do that is by peeing on themselves, which he just demonstrated. Luckily, he didn't get me. So the smellier they are, the more that the does like them. And like I said, they will pee on themselves. Pee on their faces and their beards, as well as their front legs and their chest. Oh, it's bad. Oh, messing with your bucks during rut is nasty. Everything gets permeated with that smell. Doesn't it, bud? Huh? Doesn't it? It's so gross. So 8-Ball here is almost a year old. He was born last December. He's trying to wipe his nasty pea beard on me. We got him in February when he was just 8 weeks old. He was such a cute little dude. He really was. And he's considered a chocolate with white spots. I love his coloring. Hoping that a lot of these spots will carry through when we breed him to the girls. He has some of that frosting on him as well. On his ears. He has the white pole cap like everybody does. He doesn't have much frosting on his nose though. I'm gonna have to put him up. He is not wanting to be cooperative. He keeps trying to pee on me. And is trying to wipe his nasty beard on me, aren't you, dude? So let's try to get a look at his face here. He also is blue-eyed, as you can see. And you can see the nice wetness of his beard. That's where he peed on himself. My hands smell so bad even with these gloves on. I know they're gonna stink. Well, thanks for watching. I need a shower. Ugh, after messing with him, I definitely need a shower. And I'm exhausted from chasing goats. Why is it the day that I decide to do something like this with them that they're going to be the most contrary and run off on me? I will link the video in the end about the birth of our two little girls with Tilly and all, because it kind of discusses a little bit more about them themselves, and it shows the other one too that we had, Miracle. And thanks for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this and you learned something, and this might actually persuade y'all to get some goats. I will tell you, they can be a handful, but they're so much of a blessing sometimes too. Alright, thanks for watching, y'all. Bye.